Hello everybody! Infernape Shinjo here. Isn't anime an amazing thing? We get attached to these fictional characters and whatever journey that they go along, and by the end of it, we either feel satisfaction from watching them throughout their story, or disappointment depending on how it ends. Like music, anime, as well as a lot of things, are split up into different genres to differentiate one from the other. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. I've watched a decent amount of anime from different genres, some more than others, so that's where this discussion starts. I picked off 4 genres that I feel that I watch more than any other genre of anime, and over these next 4 videos, I'm going to list off 3 anime from each genre that I feel perfectly embodies the genre, or at least anime that I would recommend when talking about this genre. Today's video is going to be on Slice of Life. Now, Slice of Life is interesting in that it doesn't actually need a story to bounce off of. It's basically just going through everyday life with kids either in school or work or whatever setting that they're in, and just seeing what they do in their day-to-day lives. Now, especially with Slice of Life, there are a lot to choose from, and I tried to make it so I pick anime that I don't hear people talk about that much, at least from my realm. But if you're not into Slice of Life, that's perfectly okay. Next video is going to be on comedy anime, so stay tuned for that. Now, I don't have a set blueprint of how I'm going to do this. I just wrote down 3 anime on a notepad, and I'm just going to explain what it's about and what I like about it, and then move on to the next one, and see if that sort of idea with it works. And if it does, then I'll continue it with future series. But not gonna waste any more time and go into the first one, which is very obvious: Laid Back Camp, or Yuru Camp. And I say this every single time. If you've been anywhere on my channel, if you've seen my intro, if you've seen my poster picture on my YouTube account, if you've been anywhere, then you know how much I love Nadeshiko. She is just the dim-witted but lovable character done right. But first, the plot. It's basically just a group of girls going camping. But the interesting part of it is, I think they mentioned it in one of the first episodes, that Rin, one of the main characters, is going camping during the winter, which isn't that common of a thing, but she does that just because she doesn't want to interact with people. But after she meets Nadeshiko one day, she basically becomes friends with her, and by extension, all of her friends, from Nadeshiko's perspective, become Rin's friends. Kind of. What I like about it, even though they make a point to mention that Rin doesn't want to interact with people, Nadeshiko, or anybody else for that matter, feel like they need to go out of their way to force Rin to do something. If Rin doesn't want to do it, they politely respect that. But I think the biggest selling point with this show is the art. It is so beautiful when it shows the huge expanse of the sky at night or at day or in the morning or anytime. The art for the backgrounds is simply amazing. And I didn't think that an anime would go so far with backgrounds like that, but they do. One note that I will make is they have a narrator that kind of goes through the first couple of episodes, but they eventually teeter off. So if the narrator is getting you hesitant on watching it over the first few episodes, the narrator eventually goes away after probably episode 2 or 3, maybe even 4. It's been a while since I've watched it, so it's not entirely clear in my mind. But the second anime up is Nichijou. And for anybody that's seen Nichijou, yes, it is more of a comedy-driven show, but it is still has some slice of life aspects to it. The basic idea of the show is it's 3 girls, the one with the blue hair, the one with the brownish hair, and the one with the black hair, just going to school in their everyday lives, and that's basically it. You have to kind of suspend your disbelief to get a lot of the stuff in this show, because it's very over the top and it's kind of wacky with a lot of the humor. But at the end of the day, it does still talk about their day-to-day lives, so it does succeed on the slice of life side. Not to say that the comedy isn't good, it's just that you have to be in a sort of mood to understand the comedy, because it's really wacky, and if that's not to your liking, then keep an eye out for the comedy episode next week. Honestly, my favorite part of the show is from the perspective of Hakase, Sakamoto, and Nano. Without spoiling too much, although not sure how much you can spoil with Slice of Life, Nano is basically taking care of Hakase, but in turn Hakase takes care of Nano. It's a weird thing, and I don't want to explain it because it really just defeats the purpose of a lot of the jokes. And Sakamoto gets introduced to the cast after a couple of episodes, and it's basically just their day-to-day lives. Nano trying to be the straight woman and keeping Hakase in line, and Hakase basically being a loose cannon. Just doing whatever she wants, not really caring, although to be fair, she's a kid, so that perspective and attitude actually makes sense. But to be fair, there are a lot of slice of life anime that are also comedy. So I figured to at least include one comedy on here as well. And if you like over-the-top, nonsensical comedy, then this is the show for you. But there is going to be another comedy anime in the later episode that's basically the same thing, as far as wackiness goes. But that's about as much as I can say about Nichijou. It's funny, but you have to basically just forget everything you know about anything to understand their comedy, because it's kind of out there. But the last anime that I'm going to be talking about today is Hinako Note. And it's actually funny because, a little bit of a side note, my family and I got a Roku TV downstairs because we were paying too much or whatever, I don't know the details. But I have access to Crunchyroll on there, and I can watch some anime without having to pay. Not sure how that works. If anybody can fill me in, that'd be great. But the problem might have already been solved, and I might have already lost my trial or whatever. I don't know the details. If anybody knows, then I tried searching online about Crunchyroll connected to Roku, but hey, as long as I can watch my anime through it, it's fine. But I saw Hinako Note on there, and that got me wondering, how many people actually know this anime? I think I found this anime by accident a couple of months, years ago, and I decided to watch it, and I honestly enjoyed it. Basic idea with Hinako Note is Hinako, the main character, comes from basically a farm country, and she's not used to talking to people, and if she starts talking to somebody that she's not used to, she basically just freezes up and turns into a literal scarecrow, arms out, straight pose, T-pose and everything, and animals come flocking to her. So she's basically a human scarecrow. And for some reason, I can't remember why, she decides to go visit all the girls around her and basically perform in theater. I'm not entirely sure why. I guess it's to go overcome her stage fright. I don't remember the details. But if you were someone that performed in theater in high school or middle school or whenever, then I feel like you would enjoy this. I don't know, I barely performed in theater myself back in high school, but I still enjoyed it. But a lot of the comedy is basically derived from, oh, Hinako's scared of talking to this person. And if I remember correctly, she actually does kind of grow as a character and actually performs on stage. One criticism that I will say, and I'm pretty sure that I mentioned this when I talked about Hinako Note in another video, is basically Hinako's mother, I believe, was gonna stop by to see how she's doing, and Hinako and her friends were gonna perform, and they don't show the performance at all, I believe. And if they do, they show very little of it. And I was thinking it was going to be some huge build-up because the anime was closing in on its last couple of episodes. I thought it was going to be a big build-up of, okay, Hinako's mom, I have to show mom how much I've grown and perform and whatever. But it's over in a matter of minutes. And I'm not sure if that's just a pacing issue or based off of the manga that it's based off of. I'm not sure. I feel like that would have been done a little bit better if given the opportunity, but if you're just something to veg out in front of and relax, then I feel like this is a good bet. Although I will say that basically every character on the cast has one joke that they're associated with, and that's it. Like Hinako being a scarecrow, the blue-haired girl, basically her only trait and her running gag is she eats a lot. The one with the maid outfit, the fact that she's short. Basically everybody's got one joke, and if you're tired of hearing that joke after a couple of episodes, then this anime might not be for you. But that is going to do it for today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed. I know that I'm going to have to cut down a lot of this, but from how it looks now, I've recorded 20 minutes worth of footage, but it'll probably just be about half of that, so that's okay. Let me know how you like the layout of this. I'm probably going to at least record a couple of other episodes, just to be transparent. I'm planning on recording the comedy portion, the romance portion, and the action portion. And I know there are like a whole bunch of different genres. I really want to record a horror version of it, but I'm not sure if I can think of enough horror anime that I've watched to make that video worthwhile. Or if you wanted to just have it be like, oh, let me talk about 3 anime by Kyoto Animation or this other studio or whatever. If you guys have other ideas like that, I'd be more than willing to listen to them. But that is going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, and I will see you in the next episode. Momentai. 週末旅行が始まる